I'm Madelon Hooykaas. I live in Amsterdam. I'm a visual artist and I work with audio, video, photography and different elements. And I've worked with Elsa Stansfield since 1972. Unfortunately, Elsa died in 2004, but I have been continuing in the same spirit, the work. And so this is a major exhibition at this moment, which gives a choice of about 150 works we have made together, and one or two works which are recently just made by myself. Elsa Stansfield and myself have made over that period of time, from 1972, around 150 works. And this time we're going to show a number of works here in Glasgow, and a few of those works also span about 30 years, but it's obviously a choice. I think there may be altogether 18 or 20 works. The main reasons that we are here exhibiting in Scotland is Elsa was a Scot. She was born in Glasgow and she was educated at the Glasgow School of Art. We started collaborating, making films, and in films that was quite normal that you would collaborate, but then video came up and we had the possibility to make our first video environment here in Glasgow at the Third Eye Centre, what is now the CCA, and that was in 1975. So it's quite nice to be back again and show work here at CCA and street level Photoworks. Well, most of our work, starting in the 70s, was a little bit more community based, and then later on we started to work a lot with nature, and also because we were able to travel a lot as artists in residence, being at different places, and the environment where we were was always an important inspiration for our work. So we also have traveled a lot in Asia, and that was also from a Buddhist point of view, looking at the world as a whole, and what is closely also to ecological thoughts. And we try to put these themes in our work, but not so obvious. They're kind of on different levels, the work. You maybe perceive it for the first time, and then later on when you think about it, you see maybe the other levels within the work. There are two works in the exhibition at Street Level Photoworks, which are from the 70s. This is running time, and it actually refers to the time a tape is running, but it also refers to the person who you see he is running in the field. It's actually also shot in the north of England, near Scotland, and that piece was made actually in the Madelon College of Art with the equipment of that, because Elsa Stansfield was the first one, but the first person who received a video bourse from the Arts Council of England to experiment at Madelon College of Art. And so the work is based also on using stills. I mean, these are photographs from the video we used, and we worked very much with the grid of the video. That was, those days it was black and white, and you have 625 lines. So the video image is based on lines, and we kind of use those lines also by printing the still image on a linen surface, which also has the kind of lines. So the work actually consists of a videotape about 6 minutes, together with a photograph, a large photograph, a still photograph from the video of this person running, and that is printed on linen. The sound is also very important. You hear partly a heartbeat in combination with sounds from the environment. 2001 we were invited as artists in residence in Dundee in Scotland at the VCR, and there we started to work on a project called Day for Night, using their equipment. We were there for a month, and that work was actually shown later in Montreal as in 2001. And actually we decided to come back in 2004 to show it again at the center space in Dundee, because we partly made it there. And that version of it is also shown at the CCA. It's a projection on a big round screen. And we also again, we used still photographs, and the still photographs are in that video piece, but they're also printed on fabric here at Street Level Photoworks. The title Day for Night refers to an expression in the film industry. It's like you're working during the day, but you're using a blue filter, so it looks like it is night. And partly because we have shown that work also in different locations, making a different kind of soundtrack for the work. And because we have chosen the content of the work Day for Night, we have chosen a number of films which were important for us and have taken little fragments out of that, or from the image, or from the soundtrack, together with images we made ourselves, video images and still images, and recordings. So it is a kind of memory of the cinema, the 100 years the cinema existed. That was the occasion. Together, how if cinema has influenced us, and that is the combination of those works are being seen at CCA, and then the still is here at Street Level Photoworks. We made a work. I think I finished this work in 2006. I already discussed this with Elsa. And the work is called Daydreaming. And also because we not only make installations for inside, we also have made a lot of public artworks, mainly in the Netherlands. And often within those public artworks, people can sit down and experience it. It is part. The public is part of the artwork. And in this time with Daydreaming, the idea is that the public will actually go and lie down in the hammock, what is part of the artwork, and experience the projection on the wall, a little bit above them. And that instead of just looking at the artwork, it's supposed to become part of it. And the soundtrack is also quite important in it. So that is with many of our works, there is a kind of interactive aspect. Sometimes it's very technical interactive, that people are supposed to do something, like in Table of Orientation. That is not shown in these two shows, but in this case it is that you have to engage yourself and decide, I'm going to be part of the artwork. But it's totally different when you're looking only at it. Hearing Voices is actually made in 1993, and in many times artists have a kind of idea of what is going to happen in the future, because this it's a kind of V where your head can be in between, and on the left side you see a picture actually of our Earth, made in the beginning of the 90s, and around our Earth are all kind of old satellites and screwdrivers and things that are just turning around in the magnetic field of the Earth. So we decided to use that image of the Earth and also glue it on magnetic foley, so it is actually stuck on the iron of the artwork. On the other side, we have the name Hearing Voices, and because it's made with little holes, so that behind there is a speaker also attached to the magnetic way. And what you actually hear is a little bit of voices that of like telephone conversations or whatever. And our idea was, of course, through all the satellites, and nowadays with all the mobile phones, of course, you're talking, but maybe also what you hear will go around our Earth. So that was basically the idea. It's a little bit a criticism of it, but at the same time also saying, well, remember when you're using and talking, maybe, it stays forever in the universe. And so it's also in that way, the public has to engage themselves and put really their head in between that and listen carefully. Most of the works, they are very kind of time-based in the sense that, if you only listen for 1 minute, you maybe don't get really the whole feeling of the work. You have to really take a little bit of time. That's the same also of seeing the video works. Well, you get a fragment if you see it if you only see two minutes, but if you stay a little bit longer, the other levels in the work will appear to you. It's also a new work, a recent work, I must say, and I was very intrigued by this little kind of frames you can have. I mean, you can just put a little chip in it, and here you have certainly all kinds of images you can use. So I like to use that framework as like a little painting. It's very related to painting. That's why I call it still life, because it's related really to old Dutch paintings where they had beautiful tulips all the time. And this work was made over a period of 3 weeks. It was also partly made on video, but also on photography. And out of that, all that material, I chose about 80 images. And in 2.5 minutes, you will see what you can see in 3 weeks. And it is a kind of vanitas work relating, to death. But first time you see the tulips, really they are very like this, and then they're opening up and then they're going back in. And then in that way, to see that kind of time in that way is kind of, I think, a very beautiful way of showing it with the technology you have nowadays. And that is also an edition. I made 3 works, 3 the same, because then, of course, it's the idea also, well, because you can use that way of technology. And so many of our works are all unica, but this is a way of, having that the work isn't so expensive and people can afford it, in their home, because there are 3 of them. In the beginning, when Elsa and I worked together, we also did still our separate works also. I was working with Polaroid and silkscreen, and Elsa was working with photography and drawing also a little bit. And Elsa was very good also, she liked also writing, and sometimes it was more like a poem, not really sentences. And she made a beautiful work called Everything is Round. And the text, what was actually published in a little catalogue, because it was shown here at the LYC Museum up in the north of England, in Banks. And actually I can read it to you, because it's a rather moving text. For us, life is like a circle, coming from nowhere and going everywhere. Touch a stone, the dream reawakens in a moment. The echoes return, listen in a shell, a message in a bottle. Who was it for? I come back on my birthday to celebrate. Many happy returns of the day. Elsa Stansfield, 1977.